Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all
Well, as best as
right.
we can be at the moment, but yeah.
That's always it, isn't it? Mel's joined us already. Hello, Mel. Welcome.
I'm good, thank you. Am
It's
I
so
being a bit too eager? Should I?
never, never.
No.
I'm
Um,
just.
um,
Do you know what I'm going to do, Mel? I'm going to introduce you as I would have if you were in the waiting room, and you're just going to have to sit there, and you're going to have to hear it.
I'll
Okay?
have to be silent. All right, go on.
What an entrance! Oh my God. First of all,
Burst in.
welcome. Can I just say,
Yeah.
this is Mel. This is just Mel, right? 110% all the time. There, giving it large. Like, she doesn't do anything
First
half-assed.
live, and she's a
Thank
pro.
you. Okay, I'm going to stop now. I
That's
promise.
it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited because we've got my mate, Emel Sevinç, here today, also known as Mel Scribbles.
Mhm.
And she's an absolute delight. It's really hard to know where to start, but I guess maybe what I could say is that I met Mel because she runs this amazing book club, which she's going to tell us about later, a women's book club in Walthamstow. And it's so popular. Like, I mean, like I thought book clubs were like three people, but Mel's is like epic. It's really, really epic. And you've now got kind of a team that helps run it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Um, so we'll go into that in a minute. She's also an author. She's written her own book, which
Not
is
yet. Not yet. Sorry. Okay, carry on. Carry on. Sorry.
do you know what? I'm going to put me and Sam on silent, and Mel, you can
No,
just go
no, no.
for it.
Please don't. Go,
That's
no.
good
Carry
with
on.
me.
I'm going on silent. No.
But you know what? The other thing, well, there's so much to say about Mel. She's got these incredible projects, and she is obviously a book lover, which is why we have her here. I'm so glad you've got your mug, Mel, because the other thing I wanted to do today is show off my mug. Look at my
Ah!
mug.
Is this because of the conversation we had earlier?
Well, I didn't want to bring it up because I didn't know if you wanted to
We've
say
got
it.
10 views, Nina.
Right, I'm
I'm
going to
not saying
say it.
anything else.
There was some talk that if we managed to get over 10 viewers, that somebody's tits might come out. That's all I'm saying, right? And instead, to save the
Is your
day,
mug? Yes.
I brought my
Subject to that.
tits, okay? So welcome, Mel.
My children are next door.
Oh, can we also just say it was Mel's birthday the other weekend, and we went out to celebrate, and her teenage daughter was the most incredible DJ. Like, she was dropping tunes from 20 years ago, and us oldies were freaking out. My knees hurt so much the next day because I raved so hard, thanks to Mel's teenage daughter. So there you go.
Thank
that's
you. Thank
that's the
you.
show of a good night.
Absolutely. The show of a good night, and also you raised her right as well. So there you go.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's very kind.
So welcome, Mel. How are you today?
Oh God, I was quite nervous, but that's gone now. I feel like I'm just having a friendly chat with my cup of tea, So, so nerves are definitely gone. So, and you've definitely made me feel at ease. And what a way of introducing me. I just felt like I was like, who is this Mel? Definitely doesn't feel like me. You've really bigged me up. Thank you. You're really kind with your words. You're very generous. Thank you, Nina.
It's just true, isn't it, Sam? You know.
It is. I
Thank
have
you.
been doing a complete deep dive, and just everything that you do is so incredible. And I just can't comprehend how you have the time for all these projects and to keep them all so up to date and so like thorough.
Oh,
It's
thank you.
just,
There's a lot to talk about, isn't there? There's
yeah.
a lot to talk about. Yeah. And so, Mel, maybe we should just start with, why we're all really here, which is that we're all a bit obsessed with books. And that is, that's
Tad.
what's brought all of us together, a tad. So maybe you want to talk to us a bit about your relationship with books, your journey with books growing up,
Yeah.
where it started.
Okay, so growing up, I wasn't much of a reader. Reading wasn't really encouraged at home. Both my parents, actually, okay, this is going really back, but both my parents were illiterate. Mum didn't go to school because she was, she was from a very, very well known family in the town that she was from. finances wasn't really an issue for her, but she was always very proud to say that she was the first girl in 5 generations. So when they were raising her, they kind of really raised her like a princess, but in a very patriarchal society. So they didn't believe that girls had to go to school, and in a way, they kind of thought it was a bit of a threat for them that if she did go to school, that she was going to be educated, and she might write letters to boys, so they so that way they just didn't want her to go to school. Whereas my dad, on the other hand, he was raised in poverty. I remember him saying that how he didn't have had his first pair of shoes when he turned 6. So they just couldn't afford for him to go to school. And even those were like hand me downs from somebody, with like holes in them and everything. So he was really in the middle of poverty, and he just couldn't afford to go to school. And I remember him telling me I know this wasn't your question. I don't know how I've ended up there, but I'll
No,
tell
this
you
is
anyway.
gold.
I remember him telling me, like, before he was a tailor, he would work in the fields, he would work as a shepherd, and he would work as well to earn money to help look after his parents and help support the family. And he would always hide a little bit of money to the side so he could get my uncles and my younger aunts who did get to go to school, carob.
Oh
Yeah, so
yeah.
he would get carried for them, yeah. So then bribe them, saying, "Can you teach me the alphabet? Can you teach me how to read?" And that's how my dad learned how to read. And then when he would go out to the field, he would see like a piece of paper on the floor, and he would pick it up and start reading it. And that's how he learned how to read. And then he started to get really interested. He was reading books for a little while, and then he started to read encyclopedias, and he really excelled himself. He really developed himself from there. So when I was growing up, for them, they would say things like, "They just make sure you study hard," but that was it. It wasn't really encouraged. Like, they didn't come from like a reading background or anything like that. So, and yeah, I just wasn't really that interested. I mean, I'm really scared my children. I read all the time. But yeah, no, I really didn't read that much. I think reading kind of came about when I started to do my degree. I did my degree in English language and creative writing, and I kind of had to read. So it wasn't through choice. But then the more I read, the more interested I became, because I found that I was entering this world that I'd never get a chance to enter. So yeah, so it just opened doors for me in different worlds. And where my family was quite traditional and quite strict, I was limited to the places that I could go to. I found that these books were a way of going into these worlds of these different lives of people. So yeah.
Beautiful.
That is what is so magical about reading, and that is another reason why I love reading so much. Do you remember the first book that hooked you in?
Oh, Jesus, good. The
Or one of the first?
Oh, it wasn't one of the first, but it's one of the ones that I don't forget about. Is The Kite Runner by Khalid
Oh
Hosseini.
yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I love that book. I
Yeah.
love the film. I went to the theatre. I love it. And I love Khalid Hosseini as well,
Yeah.
like all
So
his books.
yeah.
I think my favourite book of his is A Thousand Splendid
Splendid
Suns.
Sons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was. I felt a little bit sad because I read that, obviously, because that came out after The Kite Runner, and I love The Kite Runner so much. I felt like I was betraying The Kite Runner because I love the A Thousand Splendid Suns, and I went to see that at the theatres. I think that was at Hackney Empire actually, and oh, it's just amazing. It was
Yeah.
so good. Yeah.
I'm
Gorgeous
so
book.
with you with that. I absolutely love him and all of
Yeah.
all of the books that he's written.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He's so good, isn't
Agreed.
he? I might pick
Yeah.
it up again. I might. Oh, I was suggesting it to the our women's book club, but we don't read male authors, so
Ooh.
I'll recommend it off the books. Yeah.
I love it. Well, you've heard it here. You've recommended it here. I mean, to be fair, A Thousand Splendid Suns, it is written by a man, but of course it's about the women in
Yeah, yeah.
Afghanistan. And
Mm.
and I think that's what's so beautiful about the two books is that The Kite Runner is about the
Yeah.
boys. And then you have the experience of the women under a similar
Mm.
regime kind of thing. And yeah, and you're right, Mel, like especially those kind of writers, they just, give us access to a world that we would
But
never in a million
never,
years,
absolutely never.
access. And it's heartbreaking, but of course it's such powerful human stories as well, isn't it?
Mm.
Why don't you then expand a bit on that, Mel, and just tell us, you've told us about Khaled Hosseini's books and how much they mean to you. What other books have kind of been significant for you in maybe different eras of your life? And when since you discovered reading, what are the markers and the milestones for you and the books that represent that?
A variety, actually. Because obviously, as with experience, with age, and the person I've become, obviously becoming a woman, becoming a wife, becoming a teacher, becoming a mother, and then with over the years, my view, my experience, everything changes. So sometimes I feel like it's not even the book, but the time that I've read it as well. So there's been times when I've read one of my favorite books is actually a Turkish book written by a Turkish author called Buket Uzuner, and it's called Istanbulites. And I read this when I was single, and I fell in love with it. A few years later, because it was my favorite book, I read it again. And then I found that I was just like, what was this all about? I didn't really quite get it. And then I think it was last year or the year before, I read it again and I fell in love with it because I felt like I was in a place in my life where I just felt like I've settled and I understand people a bit more. I think it's because I listen more. I know I'm quite chatty, but I do listen more than I used to. And I think because of that, it's kind of just opened my eyes. I've become a lot more experienced in life, and it's just like empathy has grown a lot more. I think definitely that. But going back to the books, which ones can I say? Oh, actually, one of my favorite books is 10 Minutes, 38 Seconds in This Strange World by Elif Shafak.
Yeah.
I love her, I do. I think everybody knows that I love her as well. And I think that book, for me, I could really resonate with that book because I just feel like it's a book about friendship, about community, and about, people that are pushed and like just marginalized in society. And I feel like as a teacher, when I was teaching at secondary school as well, I remember I used to teach PSHE. If you're a PSHE, I mean, if you've got a good relationship with students, they come and open up to you with a lot of things anyway. But if you're a PSHE teacher, you talk about subjects that other teachers won't necessarily touch upon. So I remember at the end of at least every lesson, there would be a student lingering around wanting to talk to you about something they would never be able to talk to anybody in their family about, or another member of staff, or like somebody in the community. So I remember those students that I used to be able to connect with when I read that book. And yeah, I think that's probably I feel guilty to say that's my favorite book because I just fall in love with lots of books and I could never just choose just the one. But yeah, that's probably a book that kind of really does stand out for me in a particular part of my life as well.
Yeah,
I don't know
gorgeous.
if I've answered your question.
You
Oh.
absolutely have. And it's so beautiful and emotional to think of that connection with the students as well.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
That might be one of the most jealous I've ever been. When I saw you met Elif, I was like,
Oh, well.
oh my God. I was like, scroll past. I was so jealous.
Oh, I met her a few times actually,
What?
and the first time I was so starstruck I couldn't speak. Oh my God! The second time, no, the last time I met her, I talked about the book club, and then I talked about my husband. Just like, and I tell you why, because the last we read 10 minutes 38 seconds and as part of the book club, and we found that we've got like 30 odd active members. Some are within the WhatsApp group, and we've got about 20 that always come to the meeting. It's a different 20, but we've got roughly about 20 people. And I think this was the first time that we actually read a book all together, and we all had the same view. We all kind of liked the same characters. We all disliked the ending, or we all liked, that we all had the same view, which is really difficult. Like 30 women to have the same view on one particular thing. But then I remember during COVID, like I've read most of her books and I love her writing style and I really enjoy reading her books. And I remember during COVID, me and Alex decided to read The 40 Rules of Love. Now, when I read it, but when he read it, it was like he was doing A-level English. He was making notes. He was cross-referencing characters. He was, writing down metaphors, linking it to Rumi, everything. His book, if you'd
Wow.
seen it, he'd like, it was like dissected with all these with all these notes and everything. So I was like, "What did you get from it?" He was like, "What do you mean? What did you get from it?" He could have written essays on it. He could have done a dissertation on it. So I was just like, this one book and so many different views. So I can't remember why I was explaining this to you, what the point was, but I just wanted to say, like.
Alex Shafak.
Yeah, this was it exactly. So yes, I was talking to her about Alex. That's what I wanted to say. That was my point.
Yeah.
So,
I tell you, Alex is, I've seen him in a new light now. And also, Sam is like the queen of annotation, and so that they could maybe have
I'll
their own little
happily hand
platform.
over my crown. That is incredible.
hang on. Having said that, I remember like The Alchemist. I still haven't read that. I know lots of people out, and it's quite high up there. And he was like, "Yeah, it's all right." So
That kind of,
I need to read that to say that actually it's not. Yeah, it's all right.
well, yeah, you can decide, can't you, for
Yeah,
yourself? It's
That
just
might be
because,
your essay.
there
yeah,
you go.
maybe. I don't. Oh God, yeah, maybe.
Brilliant. Well, we do what there's so much we want to ask you about, but just in terms of like your reading habits, I think maybe we want to like just ask you one more question about just where you like to read and how you like to read and when you like to read and what your ideal kind of reading vibe is if you have the choice, which we don't always do.
Um, I am a reader in bed. I do like to read in bed. But I do also, because I work from home, sometimes once the kids are at school, Alex has gone to work, just before I start working, I think, oh, let me just get a couple of pages in with my cup of tea on the sofa. I do like that as well, yeah. And on the
Nice.
beach, in the park. Oh my God, I could read everywhere actually.
Actually,
Yeah,
Just
pretty much.
anywhere.
One place I can't read though is on the tube. I always take my book with me, but then I just get like really distracted. I love people watching, which I know I could do at the park and the beach and everything, but I find the tube or the airport fascinating. So I'm always like people watching there. So yeah.
I
That's,
completely agree. My favourite thing to do on a tube is watch what other people are reading.
yes, yeah.
I mentally take down book recs rather than
Yeah.
reading my own.
I never forget on one occasion somebody was reading next to me and I nearly said, "Can you turn the page?" or I kind of like lifted up their cover to see it in a very apologetic manner.
hurry
Yeah,
up
come
and
on,
run.
turn over. Or they've had to get off and I've been like, "Oh, should I just quickly run after them?"
I feel that like that is your certified bookworm pass.
Yeah.
Like there's no getting higher than that.
No, I love that.
Excuse me, you're not reading fast enough.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not even a fast reader, but yeah, there's been times when I've wanted them to turn the page over.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Now you've also mentioned your book club, so maybe that's the natural kind of thing to talk about next. Now I've had the absolute privilege of joining you guys, and it really is such a special community, but like I was saying at the beginning, I don't have a lot of experience with book clubs and what have you, but I mean 20 to 30 women is absolutely amazing. And it has got to the point now where it's so successful and so important and significant to so many people that you've got a whole team helping you run it, right? Do you want to tell us about the journey, how it started, how it got to where you are now?
Well, I didn't start it. There was already a book club there,
Got
and
you.
I quit teaching in 2019, I think it was.
Yeah.
or yeah, well, yeah, I think it was around then. And I think that's when I joined, because where I used to work full time, I locally, I've been living in Walthamstow for like how many years? About 15 years now, and I didn't know anybody in the area. So I thought, oh, what better way to make friends, within the area. So I joined the book club, and I think it was about a month into it, the lady that ran it was just like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. If there's anyone that wants to take over.
Oh, wow.
And I think it was just me and Yaz. We were like, if nobody wants to, we don't mind stepping up. And it was Yaz's first month as well. And we kind of stepped up, and then we just took it from there. And then we've got Marcia that's joined us, Martina who joined us, but she's left. She's traveling the world now. Who Alia is also on board with us as well. So I kind of look after the social media side of things, which I'm not very good at. But and we kind
I
of,
beg to
putting the poll
differ.
together, or putting the poll together. Yaz is in charge of booking the venues. Marcia does, she does all the beautiful, the aesthetics for the social media. She does really good stuff. And Alia does the little post-it notes on and asks people's. We have like this view comments box about what you want to say about the book anonymously. So she does all of that. So yeah, so we've got like a little team together. How we go about selecting books, we sometimes have a theme. Christmas time we try to go for like the classics. Around June we try to go for like LGBTQ community, aim at authors or like a theme that supports the LGBT community. February we kind of say, maybe a bit of love, about friendship, so we kind of try to have a bit of a theme, but we don't always stick to it. We've got we recently have said that if it's a local author, we won't put it on the poll, and we just want to support local authors. And currently we're reading I forgot the name of the book, sorry. One Girl Began by a local author called Kate Murray. And yes, Kate Murray Brown. And we'll be interviewing her actually on the 18th of February. So if anybody's interested and wants to meet the author, she'll be coming along, and we'll have a lovely Q&A with her. What else? Oh yeah, and one of our rules is that I think we're the only book club in the world where you don't actually have to read the book. As long
Wow.
as we're a very chilled book club. As long as you enjoy discussing books, that's fine. That you qualify to come and join us whenever you like. So that's our only rule. Oh yeah, and you have to identify as a woman. That's our only rule. Two
I
rules.
That's so
love
inclusive. Yeah, I really love that. And also, like, it takes away the shame and the pressure of have you done your homework?
Yeah,
That
I know.
thing.
I've heard of book clubs where you kind of have to write essays on the book. That Alex will be good than that, but
Get him
but,
involved
but
quicker.
yeah. But otherwise, yeah, we're happy for you to read it, listen to it, or not even read it. Just come along, have a chat, have a drink, and talk books to us.
I mean, no
Gorgeous.
wonder it's so successful, because that is the most
There's
inclusive
no
book club
pressure.
I've come across.
Yeah.
And I've come across quite a few, many of which you do pretty much have to do a dissertation for.
Yeah.
But this is so
It's
like,
a time where attention span is so low. It's
Mhm.
difficult. Um, Last year I read books, but I didn't get a chance to read many of our book club books. And sometimes it's just sometimes the book that is chosen on the poll isn't really to your taste, and you might not want to read it, but we still want you to come along. And we've had some really good friendships that have come from that group. Some I definitely have. The girls that we run the book club with. I'm really close with them now. So, and I think it's really important at this day and age. To find that community, the sense of sisterhood. It's vital. And if it's
Absolutely.
through books, even better.
yeah.
110.
See,
110.
as you've just said, we are living in like an era of short attention span, and many of us are used to short form content, videos, TikTok. What does it mean to you to gather around a book and just discuss it?
Um, well, it's building that community, isn't it? To discuss like to discuss it with people that you've never. Sometimes because each month we get different members, so they may be in the book club community for maybe a couple of years, but they've just never been able to come to the book club. So sometimes we have new faces, and you're discussing something that you may have an exact view with, or it might be completely different, and it's really important because the people within our book club are from different parts of life. We all have different jobs, different upbringings, and you've read the same book with them, but they'll see it differently to how I've seen it, and I think that's really important, because it's perspective, isn't it? And you kind of learn from that. So I think, to me, that's quite important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And this sense of community is so important. I mean, you really are the queen of community when I think about it, because you also run writing workshops, and that's another one of the many things that you do. And that's why you're known, on your handle as Mel Scribbles. Yeah, it's not just scribbles, it's more than that. But could you tell us a bit about those, and also the sense of community that you've created there? And I guess between the two, the book club and your writing workshops, what have been some of the standout moments maybe from those gatherings?
Oh, so many. God, I don't know how to put it, but yeah, so many. So I run a writing community, and originally it did stem from the book club because there was a few writers in there that wanted to, just get together and write, and we started off like that. And then we went in phases. We kind of fizzled out, then we came back together, and then fizzled out and came back together. And then a few people were asking about, just creative writing workshops, to focus actually how to write creatively. And my degree's in creative writing, and I also do creative writing myself. So I decided to set up scribbles, and it's because when I was at university, I remember one of our lecturers actually used to start our sessions just by listening to music and scribbling, your hand moving along with the music, into waves and shapes and whatever you fancied, and then he'll stop the music and he'll just blurt out a prompt, and then he'd be like, either draw a picture or write this down, and whatever comes to mind, and then that would build into something, and then once that song had finished, you'd be like, okay, use everything on that page and write what you feel, or write what's on that page, or write a poem, write a song, whatever it is, or a story. And so I kind of took it from there. I started off with like online sessions first, and then from that I started to do in-person sessions. One I have been doing recently, which I love, is about objects, and how these objects are connected to your identity, like everyday objects that we have in our hands, like it could be a cup or whatever it is, and that's just connected to your identity, your cultural identity, your heritage, and then how that has entered into your world or your family, and how you could write the story of that. We did a session last night. It was so successful. It was so good. Some people came along saying, I've never written before. I don't think I could write anything. And they'd left with like pages of like a story, or just like a prose. And I think with the prompts, what happens is that it's just layers and layers. So you dive deeper and deeper. And then before you know it, you're just writing this story that's been within your family, that's passed down generations, that you just weren't aware of, so yeah, this is a community that I'm building. It's still in the process of building, and hope to grow it as much as I can, because I feel like these stories need to be shared, they need to be told, down into generations.
Absolutely, 100%.
That's such a beautiful creative process as well. The whole thing of just playing some music, kind of just blocking everything out, writing, getting words down, getting pictures down.
Yeah.
I absolutely love that whole concept.
Yeah. And it could
Agreed.
be anything. It could be from like Buster Rhymes to Peruse to, to,
Always a
to
bit
like
of Buster.
classical. Yeah, absolutely anything.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
But you have, apart from just scribbling, you have just finished your own book.
Yeah. Oh my God.
What is that like?
I Yeah, you know, when people say that, I still feel like they're talking about someone else.
Definitely you.
So yeah, I can't say it's completely finished because it's at the copy editors now. So it's gone off to the copy editors. So they're just going to make sure that there's no false information in there, and the word choices are correct. But yeah, so it's gone off to the copy editors, and then hopefully it will be sent off to the publishers, and then fingers crossed by the end of the year. I don't know how much I can actually say about it at the moment. It is. So it's about a project that I'm working on called More Than a Bundle Story. And from that, maybe I should explain that project first, actually.
Yeah, tell us
So,
about More Than a Bundle, and then it can flow into
yeah,
this because it's all
Yeah.
connected, isn't it?
it is connected. So, More Than a Bundle Story is a project that I set up just after COVID, I think it was. It's about Originally it's about my family. My parents first came over in 1972. My dad was invited to the UK. I stressed that out a lot. They were invited to come along to England and help build the rag trade.
Mm-hmm.
um, and they started to work in clothing factories. They adapted to the environment here, you know, and there was a small community of Turkish people and people from nearby countries as well, like from Greece, Italy, Cyprus, you know, the Middle East, you know, and they built a community with them. The living conditions weren't great. They lived in very big Victorian houses, but only very small rooms, you know. Most of them didn't have the language. The working conditions weren't great. But with that, still, they built this community here, you know. And what happened was that, you know, friends became families, and you know, a sense of community was born from there. And so I would explain this to my children, and they would be like, just not interested at all, or not listen, or you know, they were much younger back then. And I remember during COVID, I think it was Ella said something like, "How long did you used to get to spend on your iPad when you were a kid?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" Like, I would spend my school holidays at the factory. And when I remember saying that to her, she looked at me like I was out of a Dickens novel, like Victorian times. I was like, no. So I had to explain to them what this factory life was like. And they just couldn't. And I thought, you know what? Then I started to talk to my dad, my mum, and then the people around them as well. And one thing I noticed was the elders in our community had started to forget some of these stories. And I thought, my God, this is a matter of urgency because we need to collect these stories because the next generation can't even picture what a factory looks like, a clothing factory looks like. So this is how the project came about. And since then, I've collaborated with Hackney Museum. I had an exhibition there. I've had a few more exhibitions as well. And so the novel, coming back to your question, the novel has come about from interviews from that. So with me interviewing all these people, I was inspired to write a novel. The novel is based in an East London factory. It's set in the 80s. And it's about a group of people that cross paths in this factory. So, and how they came to this country and what happened, what they had to face. So I think that's about how much I could say. I don't know if I could say any more.
It's
Not too
amazing.
much, I think. Oversharing.
Awesome. And it's so incredible. I think, just to, you kind of like breeze through it, but just to say that like the exhibition itself is so, so special because it really is artifacts from those people's lives, the photos that they brought over, the things that they would have had in their homes, even things that have been crocheted or blankets and, really important things from that culture and that community. But also the reason why Hackney Museum, collaborated with you is because you started to really represent not just your family, but an entire community from that part of London whose stories just haven't really been told. And you came along and brought it to life, with this kind of multi-sensory kind of project. And this beautiful book has been birthed from that, which I've had a privilege, to read little extracts from and things like that. And it's just stunning, Mel, and it's beautiful to see it grow and take on a life of its own. It's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's funny actually when I'm not very used to I know it doesn't sound it, but honestly, I'm not used to talking about myself. And I guess you've got, that's all I've been doing. But I remember when, at first people would be like asking me, what's the book about? And my first answer was always, oh, it's a load of rubbish. You don't want to know. It doesn't matter. You know, it's a whole load of rubbish. But I think it was either Jennifer or you actually said, you know, you're writing about these people, you can't respond in that way. And that was like a smack in the face to me. It's just like, absolutely, this is, I'm honoring these people, you know, I have to respect it a lot more, because until then I kept seeing it as my work, but it's not. This is something about them. It's about the community, you know, and that's why I feel like my level of respect for my work has changed because of the community. And like you said, I remember when I first approached Hackney about the project, they were like, you know, the Turkish community is probably the largest community we've had in Hackney for decades, but we've got nothing in our archives about them.
That's
And
crazy.
that broke my heart. I thought, you know, like I felt like my people had been ignored and, like, you know, like in a way disrespected, really. So I felt like that really did encourage me to continue with the project even more so. So, and yeah, and I hope to grow it even more, actually.
I just love how all of your different projects have come together to make this book. Like, that is so special.
Yeah.
Like, everything has been put into it. But you mentioned before about the younger generations not even being able to picture what a factory looks
Mm.
like. Have you found that younger generations have kind of engaged a little bit more since doing the projects with Hackney Museum and
Mm. I think since doing the project, yes, but I think we're still in danger there, because it's still, I mean, Hackney Museum, yes, for me it was like a big project, but
yeah.
I think for the project it's still quite a small scale. It was only a small hand of people that were absolutely were able to actually view it. That's why I want to grow it even more. With the younger generation, I think there's always a threat there, because with the older generation forgetting everything and not being able to share these stories. One of the reasons why we did the crochet project was that I found that when I first started to do this project, I would approach people, and at first everyone was just really enthusiastic about it. They wanted me to share their stories, particularly the men. You know, they were very keen to share their stories. As for the women, they were just like, "I've got nothing to share with you," and I'd be like, "Yeah, but you've raised children here. You've come over here. You've did this. You've done that. You know." And to them, they just felt like their story was not even worth sharing. You know, they just didn't see the value of their story. So they would just be like, yeah, that's life. That's not a story. And, you know, and when I compared myself to them, I would think that I would never be able to carry a life that they've carried. You know, the resilience and the tenacity these women have got, and the way they just brush past it. So I had to come up with an idea where I had to make them feel like they were helping me, because that's how communities work, especially amongst women. When you say that you need support or help, they drop everything and they'll be there for you. So that's what I had to do. You know, the crochet project was, I explained to them that this is what I was doing for Hackney Museum. They were there. They didn't even ask how, when, what. They were like, just tell us when. And we're, you know, and then we all came together. They were crocheting away and sharing their stories. I was writing them down. I was recording them. And at one point, I never forget, there was like, we've got this 80-year-old auntie, and she was teaching Erin, my 10-year-old, how to crochet. And as she was crocheting, she was explaining how the living conditions were for when she first moved to this country. She was explaining how and it was happening so naturally. You know, if I had stuck a microphone in her face and said, right, yeah, tell me, it didn't work when I first did it. But doing it like this, it just happened so naturally. And then we kind of put all of those crochet pieces together, each square resembling a different story. It was like a different person. You know, it resembled so many different things. But then when we put it all together, that was just our community. You know, it just, you know, this mismatch, colourful, vibrant, resilient piece of, you know, crochet tapestry that appeared, you know, with collective work and all these stories and narratives.
Goodness, I'm so emotional right now. This is
Oh,
so
Nina.
beautiful. The thing is, I think it's because, first of all, my Yaya crochets. loads of the things that I have of her are just what she made with her hands, you know. But aside from that, I think it's this thing of like women's work and women's art and women's creativity just not being valued, you know. And here you have found a way to not only, you know, make it valuable, put it in the museum, which is an archive, you know, of their community and their history and their stories and their lives, but also such an organic way to A, get them involved, and B, get them to pass it on to the next generation.
Yeah.
It's stunning, Mel, and it's so hard to do, you know, and you do it effortlessly a lot of the time.
I loved
Um,
it. Yeah.
yeah, you can tell. You can tell.
Yeah.
Um, Tell us, like, would you be up for? Because I think we've got a lot of brilliant people, like, you know, who watch that are, you know, bookworms like us, or book slags, as we call ourselves. Um,
I've been called a lot worse, so being a book slag, I take it
well,
on the chin.
we've
Yeah.
all had our tits out already, so there you go.
Whoa, no, I haven't.
I'm so scared my
Sam
brother's
only
watching
gets
this.
Sam only gets hers out for 20, so
Well, pelvic water, you know.
but
Simon
you know.
in, we want more. Another 10, please.
But you know, I think we also have a lot of aspiring writers, you know, that watch, and you've been on this incredible journey, but also, you know, you've faced some challenges on your way, you know, to finding the right home for this story. And I wonder if you can just share a bit of the journey that you went on, you know, the frustrations, you know, the breakthroughs, the magic of it. You know, I mean, getting a book published is difficult. It's really, really hard, and it's a long journey. Agreed?
It's, oh my God. I don't know if there's anything that I've cried about more than this book. I think, you know,
Wow.
and I think this book is genuinely blood, sweat, and tears, you know. And that's not saying it metaphorically, genuinely. It started off in towards the end of COVID. Um, I, although my background's in creative writing, I still, because I've been out of uni for such a long time as well, you know, you kind of drop out of habits and you pick up bad habits. So I kind of needed somebody's support. And so I went online to look for a writing coach. Um, and I think I scrolled through and I saw, I found Jennifer. And so Alex came home and I was just like, I think I found the writing coach. And he was like, brilliant. He was like, what's she like? I really don't know, but she had like this really nice yellow background and she had this beautiful smile. And he was like, yeah, but what's her work like? I was like, I really don't know, but I definitely know I'm going to go with her. And he was like, how could you judge your writing coach on her smile and the yellow background? I was like, I just know. Anyway, so I got in touch with her, and then a couple of emails later, we started to work together. I've never looked back. Jennifer is one of the most amazing human beings I've worked with. And she's not only been my mentor, she hasn't been my coach. It's not like she's just an editor. She's become family. I love her to bits. She's actually gone back to the States where she's originally from, which I feel like I cry every day. I miss her every day. I wish she was back here because I feel like my life's falling apart. But you know, so she was like a real guidance for me, and so she kind of eased the process for me of writing because, like as you said, it's really really difficult. But with someone with such amazing experience, and she's really good at feedback and listening to what you want. You know, when I was writing this book, she was very careful with how the characters' voices were still very authentic. You know, she didn't try to change any of that. You know, she respected what I wanted, and we worked on it together. And thanks to her, so it went through so many drafts, so many, about I don't know, 6, 7 drafts with her, and then you know more with me as well. So there were times when, oh, and then yeah, I had to break from it for about a year because we had like an extension and loft conversion done. So that didn't work. So I had to put it away for a year, which kind of helps because you do have to step away from it. And then during that process as well, my mum fell ill. She passed, so I had to step away from it again. Then when I was feeling ready to actually start applying um uh sorry, I've lost my train of thought.
That's all
When I
right.
talk about my mum, that tends to happen. Sorry. So, but to apply to like agency, to find an agent, and so so I had to get back. Well, once I came back, so then I started to email agents. I wasn't very successful with agents. I was just getting emails, either nothing back, or I was just getting rejection emails. So I decided to go to publishers straight or to self-publishing. I've inquired with them, including with yourself as well, Nina. So, every time I got a rejection email from like an agency or publisher, it was just like there was like tears again and again. But you just it teaches you to be resilient. So that's
Yeah.
definitely one thing. I've
Just like the
definitely,
characters in your book.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I'm as resilient as those characters are, but yeah, you definitely grow this thicker skin, So, but I feel like I've got there now. And yeah, it's a process. It's a really slow process, and it's a lot of hard work. People do tell you it's hard work writing a book, and you think, yeah, I'm a hard worker, but it's hard work. Sorry.
It bloody is. No, I fully agree with you. I can
But
hear
you're
it.
doing it.
But you're doing it. Yeah, and you've done it, and it's just such a huge achievement, Mel. And like Sam said, the way it's come together, it's such
Mm,
a holistic,
mm,
community built thing that came from the personal stories of your family, and also I think what I'd like to say, because I know that what we try to do here at Putting the World to Rights is, just highlight the fact that you have come from humble background like
mm.
us, all
Yeah,
three of us, I think, have had that.
yeah.
Know that Sam, you also have been through a lot that has made you very, very resilient, and you're a Northern lass as well. Um, and
Filthy northerner.
just that in itself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, same as you. My grandma was illiterate. My granddad taught her to
Mm,
read and write, etc. And I'm so incredibly proud of that. And the world that we move in and the industry that we move in is so privileged, and it's
mm.
getting more privileged and more exclusive. And it's so beautiful to hear and know that there's people like you that are writing stories that really, really need to be told. And like you said, are really legacy pieces as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But yeah, I think it is important to. I'm quite proud of coming from a working class background, growing up in an estate in Hackney. That's something I'm quite proud of, and I never shy away from telling people that.
Good, good,
Absolutely, you should be proud of that.
definitely.
I suppose, what has the stories that you've collected over this entire time, what have they taught you about resilience, about identity, about belonging, and what are you going to take away with it going forward?
Um, what has it taught me? I think, you know what? I can't say it's taught me. I'm still learning. It's a process. I can't, I did this workshop. Well, it was an ongoing workshop, so it's like a course of 12, and it was to help with my Turkish as well. So I did like this Turkish storytelling workshop, and in there we touched upon identity and sense of belonging. Now, growing up in a Turkish family, my parents were really scared that we were going to lose our heritage. So mum would never allow us to speak English when we were at home. She was always really strict about, we always had to speak Turkish. She wouldn't allow us to celebrate Christmas or any other non-Turkish or Muslim celebration. And but then outside of the house, Christmas was just like fascinating. The Western world was just like so appealing. I wanted to do all of it. So I always felt like, that it appealed to me. I wanted to celebrate Christmas. I wanted to, be, Anglified, but, it was wrong at home. So I, as I grew, I kind of felt like I couldn't fit into either side. So I felt like when we went to Turkey to visit our family there, we were never Turkish enough for them. Whereas when we were here, we were never British enough for our English friends. So that whole sense of belonging is it's been a process. And what I wanted to say was with the workshops, there were so many layers of it that I discovered that, and I'm still discovering that I don't have to belong to one or the other. I feel like there's a community that I'm part of, And it's, your roots don't have to be underground. It doesn't have to be rooted down. You can spread them out. This so that to me, the sense of belonging, it could be in multiple places. You don't have to be chipped away just to be part of one. So more so from the interviews, the interviews are teaching me that yes, some people feel rooted to one particular area, but that's not the case for all of us, definitely not myself as well. And now that we've got two children, we've got two daughters, and they're like third generation Turks from my side of the family and fourth generation from Alex's side of the family. We can't, yes, we want them to appreciate the Turkish culture, we want them to know about their heritage and to own it as well, but also their British side, and that's just equally as important for us. So yeah, it's a process of learning this whole sense of identity, and also understanding and respecting that yes, some people may feel that it's only one particular area that they feel rooted in, whereas others it might be multiple places. And I think it's just important to respect that and understand that.
That's so gorgeous. So
I love that
gorgeous.
so much.
Yeah, and I think also that's so true of so many people now, like it is so tricky, isn't it, to kind of get that balance between wanting to, stay true to your roots, whether it's your roots, your parents' roots, your cultural heritage, but also to not feel, that actually that limits you in any way, because the
Yeah.
truth is that we are now mostly a multiplicity of things, all of us,
Yes.
and having space for that and being allowed to kind of hold all of that is so, so much more important, isn't it? And just, and also less isolating as well, because you can belong to a number of communities kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so interestingly heartbreaking that someone that belongs in both places can feel like they belong in neither.
Yeah. And growing
Yeah.
up, that was hard, And, like I said, I'm very proud to say that I'm from Hackney, and Hackney was very multicultural at the time. But even then, I think the world is well, some parts of the world are a lot more open to it now, being multicultural. But yeah, not I know not everywhere is accepting, but
Yeah, and I think you've touched on something that I could write a dissertation on,
yeah.
which is that feeling of like I don't look English, but I sound it, and I'm
Mm.
a Londoner through and through, but I'm not English enough for a lot of people. But when I go to Cyprus, I'm English,
This is it,
and
exactly.
it's a really interesting kind of identity to hold both, but also to not really be part of 100% of either,
No, no.
and and it's a very rich and wonderful thing as well,
Yeah.
So it's a lot to hold. I just wanted to also just honor what Beck789 said, which is
Oh,
gorgeous. Like, thank you all for joining the chat and commenting. But when she heard the journey you'd been on, Mel, to write your book, she says, wow, when those stories hit so much harder, knowing how much the writers went through to get it on paper. And I
God.
think that's so true, isn't it? You really see what you're reading with new eyes when you hear just a little snippet of the journey that someone's been on, the blood, the sweat, and the
It
tears to
is,
get
yeah.
it there. So absolutely, I agree with you. We all agree with you, Beck, for sure.
And I'm ready to get about 12 copies in my basket, wherever
It
that
is
may
fit to
be.
pre-order. When it's out there, I'll just be like, please pre-order, pre-order, pre-order.
I'll be like, share everywhere.
Thank
Everyone do
you,
it now.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Not at all. We are on it. We're your first fans, Mel, for sure.
Thank
For
you so
sure.
much, so much.
Now, I'm wondering, Sam, what do you think? Is it time for the this or
I
that round?
think it's time, Nina.
Yeah. So, Mel, you
I
don't
think I'm
know.
going to be really awful at this because I can never give one answer. You heard my answers; they just like drifted off to something completely different.
Well, the good news is there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's absolutely fine. What was
I'm just
funny was our guest last week, Val, there
Yeah.
was nothing quick about the quick fire round. She like analysed every option
the
and then
quick
gave
fire
us,
round was the profound round.
yeah, it was the profound round. Yeah. So you can make it whatever you want, Mel. This is
Okay.
this is your round, basically.
Okay. Thank you.
So go on, Sam. Why don't you start us off?
Hardback or paperback?
Oh, this is easy. Paperback, and I tell you why. again, it's not quick. Paperback because it's more accessible, it's easier to carry with you. Hardback, yeah, it's just pretty on the shelf.
Mhm.
And you know, I don't like pretty. I want practicality. You know, so.
That was my answer. That's a good
having
answer.
said that, having said that, my Goddesses copy by
Oh,
the most amazing author Nina Mills is a hardback, and I love that though because I sorry, I've just gone off on one again,
do
but
it.
I
Go
read
for it.
Do it.
Goddesses when I had COVID. I was in bed, and
Oh,
it was quite useful then because I was just sitting up and it was quite big enough for me and just be able to hold it. And I read it in 3 days and I loved it. And yeah, so hardback for Goddesses for good things.
obviously, obviously.
But generally I would go for paperback.
Love it. Love it. All right. Audiobook or physical book?
Oh, this is a tough one because lately it has been audiobook. But I like the physical feel and you know, I love that, you know, and I love buying books from secondhand shops.
Mhm.
So I don't want to go off and start explaining something because I feel like you might ask it, but so books for me are quite sacred. So I would never put a book on the floor. I would never, you know, earwig or, you know, like turn a page or write on it or anything. And so when Alex was writing in, you know, the 40 Rules of Love, I was just like, my heart, you know. So, but when I get a book from a second-hand shop, I love reading the notes in there. I just feel like they're for me. So I love that. But I would never write a book or anything like that.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
so to your question, thing, paper, a book, a physical book, not audio.
I feel
Even though
like
I
you
do
would
listen to it.
hate my books.
Really? Do you annotate in them? No way. I think it's great that other people do it, but I couldn't.
she's the
Oh,
queen of
oh
It's
annotation.
bad.
God. No, I
That's
just
what
find it too sacred. I couldn't write in a book.
that's what Sam's famous for. She's made annotating sacred now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I can understand it totally because sometimes I just feel like, yeah, you know what? This is such a brilliant sentence, or this really means something to me. I
Uh-huh.
can really resonate with it, but I could never write in it. I just feel like I'd be like struck by lightning or something.
I can't promise I won't annotate yours.
No, you can go for it.
Ebook or physical book?
Physical, yeah.
Loan a book or buy a book?
Um, I lend my books out, but I want them to be mine, so I buy books, yeah. But I'm all like, in Walthamstow Women's Book Club, I'm like, yeah, go to the library. I think it's really important that libraries are utilised because they're closing down. It's a nightmare. It's really bad that they're not being utilised properly. But personally, I want my own books.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed.
One book on the go or multiple?
Right. So generally one. Having said that, at the moment I am reading two. Oh God, say you'll be there. An amazing author, Nina Mills. And the reason why I've stopped this is because the author said to me, because I got to a point and she said it gets a little bit dark after that.
It
So,
does.
for my own mental health, I said I'm going to just hold on to this. And so I kind of started to read our book club book. But so at the moment I am on two, but generally I'm not one of those women that can multitask and do many things on the go. So I have to stay focused on one. So
Yeah,
just the one for me.
fair. Not a true book slag then. Fair.
You can be an
A book
honorary one.
part.
um, one POV or multiple POVs?
But this is going to contradict me because in my book, I've got multiple. But for me, I think one, it's just easier to follow, isn't it?
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, if it's done carefully, then multiple is okay, but otherwise just one. Don't complicate things. Not for me.
First person or third person?
Oh, first. I think you can feel it more, can't you?
Mhm.
First.
Romance or fantasy?
Oh no, I can't stand fantasy. Sorry, Sam. I'm really sorry. But if it's not real, I'm not interested. Yeah, just And I know I say this about fiction. Fiction, I know, but yes, it's still real fiction to me. But yeah, I think fantasy I really struggle with. Unless I've just not read a good one. So someone has to really give me or recommend a really good fantasy, and then I might change my view, I think, you know.
Yeah. I will say I'm not a massive fantasy lover.
You know, I always put you
No.
okay.
No. I like a bit of romantasy.
Okay.
I can't stand just like full on fantasy with all the world
Mm,
building, all the pretentious. No, not for me.
yeah. Okay.
Interesting.
Short book or chunky book?
um, I think it would have to be short. I mean, how chunky is chunky?
Has
Like
everyone
six.
asked that?
Yeah, everyone has asked that.
Oh,
Like
okay.
500, 600 pages.
That's chunky. Yeah, no, short. That's very chunky. I'm just thinking about taking that everywhere with me. No, yeah, short book for me.
That's true.
Morning reader or night reader?
Oh, anytime, really.
Mm.
Yeah, anytime. I'm not fussed.
Fast reader or slow reader?
Slow. I'm so slow. I know
Yeah.
I told the guy to turn the page, but yeah, no, I'm slow.
Read in bed or read on the sofa?
Both. I think mostly it is bed, but I do like the sofa with the cuppa and nobody
Mm.
around. I do like that as well.
Nice. Long chapters or short chapters?
Sure. Yeah. I need. Yeah. Sure.
Read with music or read without music?
Oh, no, without. I can't focus on two things.
Correct.
So,
I'll be dancing
Reread.
otherwise. Get a book.
Have arrived.
Yeah.
Reread or read once?
Oh no, now I've become reread. I never was before because I would be just think life's too short, get through as many books as you can. But I think life is short, so if you've enjoyed something, go visit it again. So
Mhm.
I think fine, that I'm okay with rereading.
Nice.
Series or standalone?
I don't even think I've read a series before. Standalone, but I'm open to series as well. I
Fair.
wouldn't rule them out. Yeah.
Fiction or non-fiction?
Both because I like memoirs and autobiographies. So I both. I'm happy with both, but fiction a bit more maybe. I don't know. I like both.
Fair.
I feel like I know the answer to this one already, but crack the spine or keep it pristine?
Oh, I felt like my spine cracked. What do you think, Sam?
Keep it pristine.
Absolutely. I mean, look. All my books are like this.
Wow.
No.
Wow.
I'm telling you,
Amazing.
these are sacred things. So I look after them very well. I'll never turn the page round or like corner it or anything. It's
You're
read my
the
blood.
opposite of a book slag. You're a book
I
worshipper.
know, I know.
Yeah.
I'm
That's what
just
you
like, yeah,
are.
I worship books.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love that. Annotate or keep clean?
What do you think?
I
Annotate
feel
hard.
like, you know what? I feel
I
like
think
we could
others
do.
annotate. I like the idea of others annotating, but
Yeah,
I just couldn't do it. Yeah.
fair, fair.
Bookmark or dog ear?
No. Bookmark.
I feel like we're gonna like offend you if we carry
Yeah,
on with
I
these.
know.
Um, First edition or special edition?
Oh, I don't mind that. I don't. I had a special edition copy of the Yellow Face, which was the golden cover, but
Mhm.
no, I'm not fast.
Yeah.
Biography or self-help?
Oh, biography. I think self-help makes me I've tried reading self-helps before, but it makes me feel like I've got problems and issues, and I just like really like I feel like I always start off happier. And then when I start reading, I think, oh God, something's not quite right here. So yeah, I'd rather read like a biography or a fiction with a self-help element to it. I think
Yeah,
that would be more helpful for me. But if I'm reading a self-help book, I think that would I wouldn't be able to cope, I don't think.
it works. Um, TBR or mood reader?
Oh. I think mood. I've got about 7 books on my bedside cabinet.
Yeah.
They've been there for about a couple of years. I think mood.
Definitely mood.
Adaptation or the book is always better?
Book is always better.
Yeah.
I really want to come across an adaptation where I think, yeah, this is good. Having said that, The Kite Runner, they
Right.
narrated every single word, didn't they? That was just like unbelievable. I felt like he narrated the whole book, and it was phenomenal. That was amazing. But generally, yeah, I just think the book is always better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Escapism or gritty realness?
Yeah, gritty realness. Give me something real. Yeah.
Proper Hackney girl, isn't it?
Yeah. I ain't got time to mess about.
What do you read or read alone?
Well, I do read alone, but obviously being a teacher or in a book club, I'm all for buddy reading as well. But personally, I think, yeah, actually, you know what? Read alone, because as soon as you said that, I just kind of remembered reading the 40 Rules of Love with Alex, and he kind of ruined that experience for me. So yeah, definitely alone.
Summer beach reading or cozy indoor winter reading?
Both. I love lying at the beach and reading as well. And sometimes I pretend to read. I just like sit there and people watch, you know.
Sunglasses on.
Yeah. What lovely swimsuit she's got. Oh, you know, what are they eating over there? What's that drink then? so,
Lovely.
so yeah, no, I like both.
Fair.
Prize winner or bestseller?
Prize winner. Because bestsellers are bestsellers according to what? You know?
Exactly.
So, I don't want to say that
Exactly.
because I would like to become a bestseller, so I wouldn't knock it. But yeah, prize winner, definitely, I guess.
Nah, forget bestseller. We're getting your prize winner.
I
Absolutely.
can't even aim at that because prize winner, that's not for me, is it? You know, I'm cut out for that.
Don't say
Never
that.
say
That is
never.
not
Oh, I
true.
hope, but we don't know yet. Well, let's just get published first.
Time jumps or linear?
Oh, again, this is in my novel. There's time jumps, but I'm an easy reader, so I'm contradicting everything I'm saying here. But yeah,
Doesn't matter.
linear is just an easy, smoother ride, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And that's
Nothing.
it.
No
We're
way!
done.
Oh, thank you.
You got
This has
100%.
been amazing. This has been
Mel,
wonderful.
it's been an absolute joy. You are. I kept calling your project Bundle of Joy because you are a bundle of joy.
I
It
was like, have I
really
missed a project somewhere?
no.
I know. I actually saw in your message. I was like, I'm not going to correct her. I quite like this name as well.
So sorry. I don't know where it came from, but I do think it is just that is my
Oh,
experience of
thank
you.
you. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. I was so nervous about it.
Oh,
But yeah, you've introduced me as something amazing, and I'm really not as big a person as you made it out to be. But it sounded lovely to my ears anyway. So, thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking books, and I'm honoured to be a book slag as well.
yeah.
Our honorary book slag.
Welcome to the club. Love
Thank you.
it. Well, thank you, Mel. It has been an absolute joy. You're such a breath of fresh
Oh,
air. Good
thank
luck with
you.
all your projects. We cannot wait to read your book, buy your book, promote your
About
book,
your book.
be your biggest fan. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Annotate your
Thank
book.
you. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Do it.
Destroy your book.
Do it, Sam. Do it.
So thank you,
Thank you so
darling.
much. Really appreciate it.
All the best,
Do I just
darling.
log out now? What do I
You
do?
log out and then we'll just talk about you more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh my God. So that's
Oh,
Mel.
that is Mel, and I can so see why you love her.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
hilarious. I've cried.
She's brilliant, isn't she? She's just a breath of fresh air. And you know, when I moved up here, it was really important for me to create my own community, you know, and to just get out there and meet people. And you know what it's like, Sam, when you move somewhere new.
Mhm.
And she just took me under her wing, and she was just so lovely, and she's so easy to be around. I feel like I mean, now I've known her a few years, but even when I met her, I was like, she just felt so easy to be around, and she just brings people together, and she really is, what you see is what you get. She wears her heart on her sleeve, you know, and she really walks the walk as well, you know. So it was so lovely having you and her, you know, in a chat together.
She's so warm. That is like the most like impactful feel I got from her. She's so warm.
Yeah, she really is, isn't she? And just thank you to everybody joining us. Like, you guys are so great, and we read all your messages. We love that you get involved in the chat and the conversation. Like, you know, it is just gorgeous for us that you interact and you listen and you're just
And
part
come
of
back
it.
every week.
Yeah, yeah, it means the world. So thank you all again for tuning in. I know it's cold and I know it's dark and it's late, so we really appreciate it. And next week, Sam, who have we
Go on,
got?
Nina.
So we have someone who is also an absolute legend in a completely new way. His name is Robert Valentine. He is an audio extraordinaire. Like, anything to do with radio or audio, he has worked across it, and I really mean everything. And he's a writer, a director, an editor, and he's just so incredibly prolific. Like, I don't know where he finds the time. So we just thought, you know, we've had a theatre writer, we've had a playwright, we've had so many authors, we've had people that run book clubs, etc., etc. And so we really thought we would have someone to introduce us to the world of audio and radio, because it's so rich. And of course, there's such a massive kind of crossover with books.
Yes. And what an incredible person to do it. So
Yeah.
thank you for that, Nina.
Pleasure, absolute pleasure. So please come and join us next week.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Sam. Thank you. You're just brilliant
Nina,
every
thank
week.
you.
Pleasure. And have a great week, everyone. And we'll see you
Yes.
next week.
See you next week, everyone. Oh,
See.
Beck, thank you. And thank you for coming back and
Oh,
commenting every single
yeah,
post every week. We see
yeah.
you and we appreciate you so much.
We really do. Thank you, Beck. And you, Madison Rose. Take
Yes.
care, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Bye.